Today guys, we're going to show you how we modify and upgrade the RedCat Gen8 V2. We're lengthening the wheelbase. We're going to show you how we put lights in the front bumper and the back bumper. We're going to show you how we put lights in the interior and put the interior in. We're also going to show you how we put in the stickers, and we're going to show you how we change the motor, the receiver, and what controller that we're using. We're using the FlySky GT5 controller. We're going to show you how we run the wires for the lights, solder it up and all that, so you can have a really good idea what we did with this Gen8 V2 to have it perform so well on the rocks. All right guys, here is another modification you can make. We're moving this screw to this hole right here, and this piece is going to come up here. So let me remove it and show you how it goes. This is how it goes. We're just moving it. Very easy to do, guys. The hardest part is just to get the screw through this bushing right here, and then you tighten this. The modification is done with one side. Let me show you how it looked. All right, so check this out. You can see it look a bit one side with the front wheels right here. This one push up a little bit more. This one is back. This one is in the middle here, and now we move the other one up front. Now we're pushing the both wheels up front, and here, let me just show you right here. You see how this come closer to the bumper, and this one is much farther. That way we're going to get a better approach angle on obstacles. So this is the reason for the modification. So now we're going to pull this backwards. One of the back link is in place, so all 4 links have to go back, and that will push the back wheel closer to the bumper. So if you take a look, you would see this wheel is closer to this bumper already than this one over here. So let's remove this one. So I'm lengthening the wheelbase of the truck because you know the body is top heavy. I want the back wheel to be as far back to the bumper as possible. Now we just have to push this one back like that and line up this screw. All right, so now the 2 bottom links move. Now if you notice what happened here, it gave the drive shaft a bend. That wouldn't work properly if you keep it like that. So we have to move this 2 link at the bottom. So we're going to flip the truck over and do this. All right guys, so the 2 links here on the top, you have a nut at the bottom of it. So to get to this nut, we have to remove the battery box. Guys, so here is that little nut at the bottom of the screw here. So what we're going to do, we're just going to get a vice grip, hold it like so, and we're going to turn it off. So now I'm just going to take this vice grip to hold the battery box up, and we can remove this screw here. And the screw is off. So one of the easiest ways I find to get these 2 links to line up without any trouble is to remove the nut from the screw. Loosen 2 of them. Don't try to put in one because it can be a little bit hectic to get one while the other is quite up inside. So just remove 2 of them, take them out in the position and let it loose so you don't get any pressure trying to get it inside. All right, so the nut is off. So by loosening these 2 upper links, it makes it very easy to get them to line up in the bottom hole because we're moving them from the center and we're taking them backwards. All right, check this out guys. Now the 2 links is loose, so look how easy it is to go back. No pressure at all. But when you try to do one by itself and one hooked in the middle hole, it gives you a lot of headache to get in there. Now in all my RedCat, I did that with all of them, and trust me, they perform 100% better than coming from the factory the way it came. Now we can do the same thing with the other side. Now check out the links guys, everything is in place. The wheel go way back. Now you can see actually how the shocks is slanting. See the wheel is way back to the fender. This is what we're looking for, and how the shocks is slanting now. All right, we got one more we got to move, which is this one right here for the front. We got to push it up 1. So to get to this screw behind here, we have to remove the ESC. Hold on by double-sided tape. We're just going to pry this off. There we go. So we move that. So now we can get to this screw right here. Here, this is off. We're just going to pry it forward. Pretty easy. And now we can put the screw. All right, so let's move this one here. So now we take off the screw. We're going forward. That complete, moving all links and pushing the wheelbase back, so we lengthen up the wheelbase. All right, so check this out guys. See the drive shaft, it's not poking out anymore. Now see how the wheel come closer to the fender on the both sides, and up front you can see how it come closer to the bumper. So then we get a better approach angle here, and at the back we get a better departure angle. And I'm going to change the system, and we're going to put in a 40M Fusion from HobbyWing. All right, let's put in the battery box. All right, so I'm going to remove this Velcro to make things a little bit easier, and I'm going to remove this wire right here for the ESC, and this one is for the servo. We're going to keep the servo. Let's put this box back together. Now, to remove the brace over the motor, this is the most difficult part because you have to remove the shocks to get to the screws at the bottom. But as you see, guys, is one screw to remove the shocks. So there's your 2 screws that you got to remove the bracket. All right, let's get that off. All right, 2 screws is off. So now we're going to remove the other shocks. And here is your screw to remove that bracket. So now we can just pop this bracket off, just like so. So right here, there's a little screw that you got to remove the motor. And that screw, we're using a 1.5 millimeter to remove it. So now that we removed the cover, there's a few screws that we got to remove here. There's one here, and there's 2 at the bottom. So there's 3 screws holding up this motor. There we go. All right, that's it. So now we can remove the motor. So we're going to reuse this plate to put the fusion in. So I'm going to remove those screws here. And to remove the plate, we have to remove this little screw right here. It's pretty tight, guys. Pinion gear is very tight to come out. Gotta pry it out. There we go. And now we can remove this plate. So the system is out. We got metal spur gear here and metal pinion gear. So we have the HobbyWing QuicFusion 40 amp 1800 kV, and we're going to put this in here. It's also 2-in-1 ESC and motor in one. All right, so let's open this up and get this inside here. Now in the box we get HobbyWing stickers. We get the manual. It comes with the programmer to program the ESC and the motor. It also comes with a connector cable, so you can connect the programmer to the ESC. It's come with 2 cables, and this cables here is kind of like an adapter. You push one inside one, like so, and here you would push one of the ends, just like that. And you got 9 functions you can use. We got double-sided tape. They also give you 2 zip ties. One of the ends, like here, just like that. And you got 9 functions you can use to change, different things here. All right, so we got double-sided tape. They also give you 2 zip ties. This is your QuicFusion 1800 kV 540. Very simple battery plug, ESC plug to go into your receiver. And here is your power button. And right here, this is where you're going to plug in the control box here, so you can program the programmer. So pretty simple. I'm going to remove this plug, and we're going to put the DINS plug on from the previous RedCat motor. So we're just going to snip this wires. We're going to be using this plug, and we'll do the same thing with this one. So you got to remember to put your shrink wrap in first. So now we're going to put solder on the both ends of the wires so we can solder them together. So I'm just doing it on the both sides so the wire don't strip. All right, perfect. So now we do this one. Then we flip it over and do the other side. All right, so the wire cover in solder. So now we can move on to put solder on this one. All right, let's join the wires together. All right, now we get the DINS plug on. We're just gonna pull the shrink wrap over. We're gonna give it some heat. right, that's it. The wires is together. So far guys, this is all the soldering that I had to do on this motor because I wanted to change the plugs, and that's it. But this motor is a beautiful motor guys. You see straight off the box, you can put it in your rig. If you have the same type of plugs on your battery, you don't need to change anything. So I love in the QuicRun Fusion 40 amp 1800 kV motor, you know, the 540 is really efficient and really cool that you could just change your rig and you don't have to solder up a whole set of wires, only if you want to change your battery plugs. All right, so now all left to do is to put it inside of the rig. So let's do this. Now we're going to put in the motor mount, and it's very easy to deal with guys. Make sure that your motor wire is on top and set the motor mount down straight like so. So we're using these two holes here. Screw in your screw, and the RedCat motor mount is really cool. It's got this split on one side here, so you could adjust it up and down for your adjustment. And now we could put the pinion gear onto the motor. Remember, this little screw right here is coming on the flat side of the shaft, just like that. All right, let's get this motor inside here. Now remember, you want the wires to be up and this going down like so. The space is pretty close, but as you can see, the motor is fitting perfect. All right, so now let's put the screws in. Now you have to put the screws in first before you can adjust the motor. So now we're going to turn the vehicle over and put in the two screws at the bottom. So let's tighten up this screw on the motor. I think I got it set where I want it to be. Pretty tight there. Okay, then I'm going to tighten the other one on the other side. Pretty snug. So now we got to tighten the pinion gear onto the spur gear. I think everything is lined up the way that I want it. So now we can put the cover on, so no dot don't get in there. Pretty simple to go back in that little screw right here. It what's hold it together. Alright, that's it. Now we're going to put back the brace, 4 screws. Very simple. Goes into that little groove here. Just like that. And we're going to put the screws in. Alright, so the brace on top is completed. So let's get those shocks back in the positions. One shock is back in place. You see that slanting angle? This is what we're looking for. So this can ride up on things very easy. See how close it is to the bumper? All right, let's move to the other side. So the receiver box hold on by 2 screws, one here, one there. We're using a 1.5 millimeter. Remove those small screws here. So this is your box with your receiver. We're going to remove this. So we're still going to use the box. That box is not waterproof. It's just a box to cover the receiver. And now we're going to put in the FlySky FS-BS6 and 6-channel receiver, so with our GT5 controller. This is from FlySky. This comes with the Axe edition. Really cool radio, I love it. Gonna just pop this in here. It's very easy to put together, guys. Now let me show you how it goes. The servo coming on 1 and the ESC goes on 2, and it's got a little space to pass the aerial, which is right there. We're just gonna push that aerial through here. All right, so what we gotta do here before we hook that up and screw it down, we gotta bind it with the motor. So we have this bind plug. We're gonna put the bind plug right here, unbind, and we're gonna bind it. All right, so now we're gonna put some power in here. This is how we go. The receiver comes on 2, the servo goes on 1. So that is just the connection that RedCat give you when you put this inside of the box. You can pull it out here. You don't have to open up the box to deal with it if you don't want to. All right, so we have the bind plug on. We have servo connected and ESC connected. Let's turn on the power. All right, we can see the receiver is blinking red. So now we want to turn the radio on, but we're holding on the bind button and turn on the power. There you go. Fine, guys. Okay, so now we're just going to remove the bind plug. This is off, and we're going to set the receiver inside the box, and we're going to close him up. Okay, and then we just put him down in his place just like that. Now you got to remember, this box is not waterproof, so water can get in there and mess up your receiver. So if you want a waterproof receiver, you should make sure you get that to make this rig waterproof. So even the original receiver that it comes with, you know, takes a really good beating, guys, trust me, because I beat up this receiver already in water and it never died on me, even though the box is not waterproof. So let's put in the other screw at the back here, and that will hold the box down. Very simple to deal with, guys, no headache at all. Very simple to deal with. Okay, that's it. So now we're gonna stick the power button on top of the receiver. RedCat include some double-sided tape, so we're gonna use that to hold down this power button. Okay, that's it. Everything is in place. So now I want to put in an interior inside this body. So before I do any cutting or anything like that, I'm going to remove the wheel wells. Then we're going to put this in and make proper adjustment. Guys, so I'll have to do some cutting here to get this to fit properly. So I'll take off this edge. So here's the interior, and this is what I did. I screwed Captain America inside of it. I just break him in half and screw him down. So I got a couple other guys that I'm gonna fit right here. So guys, this is what I come up with for the interior, and I'm gonna screw these guys down. I'm thinking I'm gonna zip tie this one and that one, but I can screw this guy down. All right, let me show you how I'm doing this. Just like that. All right, so back here, I'm just gonna put 2 holes. So I'm taking a screw to open the hole so the zip ties can go through. Okay, that's it, boys. Sitting really good there. Alright, so I'm going to put 2 screws right here. I'm going to poke a hole like right there. That's one. And I'm going to take this screw and screw it here. And I'm going to take this screw with this nut and push it from the other side. So here we're going to put this screw. Now we get the screw on the other end. We're just going to put in this little nut. We get the screw and the nut inside. Okay, let's move on to the other one. Now we get the 2 screws down at the front. We're going to put one at the back right here. And simple as it is, I'm just going to push this through the middle right here. So this is where we're going to put the next screw. So I'm taking a screw and open up the hole. And here we have this little screw with this nut that we're going to put through the hole. So now we get the screw through the hole. We're going to put the nut. So here we're just going to hold it with a vice grip and turn it in. Alright, so it's all in place there now. And at the back. So now that we get the interior lined up inside, we're going to remove it and put a cab light so you can shine the driver and the passenger inside it. All right, let's remove those screws. Alright guys, so this is the LED that I'll be using in here. It is pretty bright. This pack comes with 8 modules inside of it. It's basically for in the back of truck beds. So it's pretty bright. I'm going to put one inside here. So it comes with these little screws and the little battery pack to show you how bright it is. So you have a set of lights inside this one casing, which is 12 lights. Pretty bright. And in the pack, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is this one here. And you get double-sided tape, comes with it. Pretty strong double-sided tape too. All right, so we're gonna run one in the cab. We're just gonna cut one off. So we can use this one in here. It comes with screw holes, but I'm gonna see if I can take this off right here so we can just use the base lights. So what I did here, I removed it from the case. It was pretty tight in there, so I just pry it out with a screwdriver, and now it's out of the case. It's actually waterproof. It's like a silicone back here to protect the lights. All right, so we're gonna keep it in the case and we're gonna put it down here. So we're gonna test it out and see where it's best to put it. We're just gonna put up some tape, temporary, to hold it down. We're gonna put the interior back inside for a minute just to test it out. I'm gonna use some tape to hold along the interior until we figure out where's the right spot to put the light. So we power up the light and it's pretty bright in there. We find in the middle, it's pretty good so you can see everybody. So that's it. I'm going to remove the interior and we can stick that light right here with double-sided tape. So to clean the spot where we're going to put down the double-sided tape, we just take a regular piece of tape, put it down so you can pick up all the dirt or grease, just like that. And now we're going to take one of the piece of tape what comes in that kit and we're going to put it at the back. Okay, that's it. Remove the tape. It's pretty strong sitting there right now. So now we're going to move on to connect up the wires. Well, we have the back lights and the front lights to put on, so we're going to do that right now. So these are the lights that I'm going to use for the tail light, the headlight, and the bumper light. So all these lights here have places that they go in. So these are the headlights, and we're just going to cut this wire right there. We're not using this plug, but we'll keep this plug around in case we need it again. So just gonna strip the wires, and we're gonna take this wire, this black wire here, have a white coating on one side, and we're gonna use the white coating on the red. But before we do this, we have to remember to put shrink wrap. So here's the shrink wrap. I'm putting the red one on the one with the white marking and the black on the black. So that way when we solder, we remember to just pull this over to cover the solder. So here, we're just gonna twist the wire before we put the solder, just like that. Give it a really good twist so you stay together. So now we're gonna put some solder on the wires to hold it together. All right, so now we can pull the shrink wrap over the solder. And now we just take the side of the iron and just give it some heat and it will pull itself together. For some added protection, I put a bigger piece of shrink wrap and I pull it over the two pieces of shrink wrap, just like that. And we take the iron, give it some heat, and everything is in place. So the back of the truck takes 6 lights, but in this kit here we have 2 white ones, which could use for the reverse light. But because we're not putting any module or controller to do any signal and all that, we're just running straight lights. We're going to remove the 2 white ones, and we're going to put 4 lights at the back in the 2 red spots on both sides, and remove this one. So we're going to cut this off. So these 2 lights have to be cut off. That's it. It's off. So we're going to cut this wire off here again, and we're going to strip it. And here we're going to put shrink wrap. The red one is always going on the one with the white wire, and the black one is on black. Okay, so the one with the red is going on red. Just going to twist those wires together. Okay, and now we're going to solder it. So now pull the shrink wrap over, and we use the back of the iron and melt it down. Now we're just going to take a bigger piece of shrink wrap and pull it through so we can hold the wires together just for some strength. And just take the iron again, put it on it, and that will pull the shrink wrap together. Okay, that's it. Okay guys, so now we're going to put on the front lights, and we don't have any clips to clip it down or to screw it down. What we're going to use is some hot glue to keep it in place. Very simple guys. Put some hot glue, it's good to go. Now let's put the other one inside. All right, let's put in the other 2. We got the last one to put in. Let's get it in there. So we got the two headlights on and we're moving on to the back ones now. Very pretty easy to go inside with the hot glue. Just push it and put the hot glue and that's it. And that's it. We just have to wait for it to dry. All right, let's put in the other light on the other side. All right, so we're down to the last light. Let's get this in there. So now guys, what I'm doing here, I'm putting all the wires together, the tail light wire, the cab light wire, and the headlights wire together. So I'm connecting everyone together. So I gotta make a little split right here, like so. And then I'm gonna split the wire, just like that. Do it on the both sides. And I'm gonna take all the wires and wrap around each other. So let's just remove some of the coating. Alright, so now I want to take these wires. Remember guys, all the white coating going together and all the black ones going together. So now I'm going to twist these wires together. I'm putting the white coating wire on white and the black on the black. So I'm just going to twist it like this. Just like that. Into the black one now. So when I twist it like so, it makes it very easy to put the solder on. Alright, so we got them twisted. We can put the solder in there. Now, I know you're wondering why I didn't put the shrink wrap, but the shrink wrap is coming on this one, so you can go over. Alright, so let's put the solder on the wire. So now we can pull the shrink wrap over. Alright, the shrink wrap is on. So the roof lights is lighting. Let's check out those at the front and the back. There goes your front lights, and there go your tail lights. Guys, so we have a couple of accessories here that we want to put on. We have some Coke, we have some Coke glasses, and we have cones. We have a chainsaw, and we also have a jack. So we're gonna pick out the right ones, what can fit in the back. We also have a cooler. So we're just gonna pick out a few and see what can fit at the back. And we're gonna put them in there. So we're gonna put here, we're gonna put a maybe Coke glass here, put the two Coke in the guy's hands. All right, let's get to it. So the cone look really cool. Check out this Coca-Cola. So we're just gonna put a little bit of hot glue on the bottom of it. We're gonna put 2 cups. Simple like that, guys. We're gonna put some hot glue. Gonna put a little bit of hot glue in his hand. Now let's get to the cooler box. Let's get the jack out. So this is a setup that we're going for here. We're just gonna hot glue at the bottom. And that's it for the jack. And now we're gonna put some hot glue on the bottom of the cooler. All right, that's it. We're gonna do the cones. And then we have these guys. There we go. And then we're gonna stick this right in the middle there. All right guys, I think I complete the setup back here. I put all the scale stuff that I want to put. And we're ready to hook it up. All right guys, so before I stick the light down, I'm gonna put down a piece of carbon fiber so that will block off the light from penetrating to the body. Okay, that's it. And then we can put the light down now, just like that. So now that we get the screws threaded through the piece of plastic, we're gonna put the nut in. And now we're taking the vice grip to hold the nut. Here we're gonna do the same, hold this little nut, and we're gonna turn the body over and tighten it down. Alright guys, so we're setting up the lights for the back bumper. We're going to put in the shrink wrap first, and we're taking the black wire with the white coating on it and put it on the red. Just twist it, and then we're going to put solder in it. So with the black one, we just twist them together. But you got to remember, guys, to put the shrink wrap. Always remember that first, because when you solder, you want to be able to pull this to cover the solder. All right, so let's twist these wires together. Okay, so now we can solder it. Now we're moving on to set up the 4 lights for the front bumper. These are the 4 lights we're going to use. We're going to have to cut this piece of connector off. We don't need that. Alright guys, so we're just going to pull this piece of shrink wrap over here, and that will keep everything in place, protected, and we're going to melt them down. Okay, that's it. So now we're going to move on to put on the lights in the bumper. Okay, so you got to give it a minute or two so you can dry. Alright, so now we're setting up the back bumper. A few minutes to dry. Alright, so it's dried and it's ready to put back up on the chassis. Alright guys, let's put up the back bumper. Push this guy in there like so. To get the bumper flush with the body, I leave 2 holes out and then you line up flush with the body. Let me put the body on and show you. Okay guys, there it is. It's pretty flush. Okay, so let's put in the front bumper. Alright, so we're going to run the wire underneath this bracket here. So we're going to run a zip tie here to hold these wires down. Alright, so we have the front bumper set up. The wires run neatly. So guys, we're going to remove this connector right here because we want to put these pieces on for the lights, and we're going to unsolder it so we could put this. So now we get it unsoldered. We can just put shrink wrap over. We're going to solder these pieces here. Alright guys, so now we have the connectors connected and we're ready to put up the lights. So here I'm just going to put a few zip ties to hold on these wires here, and then we're going to connect up the lights and show you how it works. Right here we're putting on the connector for the hood lights and the headlamps and the tail lights. So we just have to pull the shrink wrap over now and use the iron and melt it. Just put some heat on the shrink wrap and that will pull itself together. Alright, so it's good to go. So we're putting a bigger piece of shrink wrap over so you can hold the 2 solder here stronger. Alright, so the connection is all set to go. Now let's put in a battery in the truck and show you how these lights light up. So now we're going to put the body on. Let's connect it so I can show you guys. There you go, your interior lights. And goes your headlamps, tail lights. Guys, we're going to put some stickers on the V2. Alright, so I'm going with the carbon fiber look. So right here I'm running LED strips to light up the RedCat logo in front of the grille. So this is what it looks like. So I'm putting hot glue to hold it together. Guys, we're putting back the fender. Alright, so we completed the 4 fenders. We finished the modification. Guys, I'd like to thank you all for hanging out with Ricky's Garage Vibes. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this upgrade and modification. Now you guys tell me what you all think, how you think it turned out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I'll leave you all with some cool shots. I'm out.